All right, so these notes are on slope-intercept form. So we have one goal for today, and is I can write an equation and graph a line in slope-intercept form. So if you already know how to do this, you can give yourself a 3. If you're like, nope, I need a big reminder on how to do this, give yourself a 1. And if you're like, I think I can do the whole worksheet, but I'm not positive, then you can give yourself a 2. Usually it's hard to give yourself a 2. You either know it or you don't. Okay, so let's first talk about what slope-intercept form is. So it says when writing or graphing an equation of a line, we will be exploring 3 different forms. We are going to begin with slope-intercept form. Okay, so slope-intercept form is the one that you guys have seen the most in your lives. I personally do not believe it's the most important one due to the fact that I teach pre-calc and I know that point slope is used a lot more, but we'll do point slope in the next set of notes. Let's talk about slope-intercept. All right, so slope-intercept is in the form y equals mx plus b. So you should be saying, oh yes, we've been working in slope-intercept form this whole entire time, okay? We need to know that where m is the slope, so m is the slope, and b, I'm not going to put b as the y-intercept because y-intercepts are points, and b, so I'll put m is the slope, and b is the y value of the y-intercept. Zero comma b. Okay, so if your y-intercept is 0, 5, then this number is going to be 5 right here. Okay, so let's first find the slope and the y-intercept for each equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so notice it's in the form y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. So first thing he asked me is my slope. My slope is 1/2. Next, they asked me my y-intercept. Remember, y-intercept are always points, so please don't put down a 3. The y-intercept is 0, 3. All right, it's 0, b. All right, y equals mx plus b. Okay. All right, so I have the y, the equals. There's the x. Where's m? M's hanging out right here. So what is the number that's implied that it is in front of x? Some people will say 0. If it was 0, then there would be no x there. It is 1. There is 1 x right there. We just don't have to write it. So your slope is 1. My y-intercept is 0, comma, and then b this time is -2. All right, let's look at the next one. Y equals m. There's the x plus b. All right, we'll start with the slope. My slope is the coefficient in front of x, right? The coefficient in front of x, coefficient in front of x. So that is -2/3. B is this number right here, which there's nothing there. So it's 0, comma, and if there's nothing there, that's 0. It's not a 1, because if there was a 1 there, there'd be a 1 written there, right? All right, last one. Y equals mx plus b. All right, so what you have to realize here is there's no x in this, right? So this is the same thing as y equals, there's no x's, and then a +5. Your slope is 0, your y-intercept is 0, 5. Okay. Okay, next part. Find the slope and y-intercept for each of the following graphs, then write the equation of the line. Okay. All right, so this I want you to realize is the baby steps to get you here. Okay. So the first part's the baby steps to get you where I need you to be. All right, so my slope, I'm going to do y-intercept first, just like I usually do. So y-intercept is right here, and that is 0, 2. So now I know b's 2. Got that part. Okay. Now I need the slope, so now I want to pick another point that I can tell where it's at. So this one I can tell where it's at. I can't tell this, like I can't tell where this is. I can't tell where this is. So I'm going to go all the way to that one. And if you picked a different point, it's fine. Just follow along with me. So I need to go from the first point to the second point. So I'm going to say, okay, what do I have to do? I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So that's -4. 1, 2, 3 to the right. So that's +3. So it's -4 over 3, or -4/3. So now I can write my equation of my line. It's y equals m, which is -4/3, x plus b, which is a +2. Most common mistake people make is they forget the x. Please don't forget the x, because then it's not the slope of the line anymore. The -4/3 isn't the slope anymore when you do that. All right, let's look at the next one here. Here's my y-intercept. That's 0, 3. Oops, that's not where y-intercept goes. It goes here. All right, now let's find the slope. So I'm going to get another point that I know. I'll use this point. All right, so to get from point 1 to point 2, I'm going to go up 1 over 2. So that's 1 over 2, 1/2. So my equation of my line is y equals 1/2 x, and then it's a +3, so +3. Okay. Next one. Find the slope between each pair of points. Okay, so find the slope between each pair of points. So I'm just finding slope. Remember my slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Change in y's over change in x's. So I'm going to do m equals, if you need to label this x, y, 1, 1, x, y, 2, 2, you can. If you don't need to do it, you don't have to. All right, so I have 6, which is y2, write down the minus, y1, which is 3, over x2, which is 1, write down the minus, and then x1 is -2. So instead of writing -2 like this, I'm going to say, oh, that's a double negative, so I'm going to make it positive. 6 minus 3 is 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. So I get the slope is 1. All right, let's try another one. M equals y2, which is 7, minus y1, which is a -3. Okay, so this was the 7 came from. And then minus, I wrote that down right away, and then a -3. So double negative again. Double negative turns to positive. Now I'm going to do x2, which is -1, minus x1, which is 4. So that is 10 over -5. So my slope is -2. Remember, if the fraction is simplifiable, you want to simplify it. Okay, next, given the following equations, write the slope and the y-intercept, and then graph the line. All right, so my slope, remember this is in the form y equals mx plus b. So my slope is 1/2, and my y-intercept is 0, comma. B is a negative value this time, so -3. And now I'm going to graph my line. Okay, so I'm going to start with my y-intercept, 0, -3. And now I'm going to use my slope. Remember, I'm going to go 1, up 1, right 2. So up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. Also remember, this is the same thing as -1 over -2, because that simplifies to +1/2. This is down and left. So I can go down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2. And there's my line. All right, let's try another one. My slope is -3. My y-intercept is 0, 2. So I'll start with my y-intercept, 0, 2. And then my slope is -3. Remember, if your slope isn't a fraction, make it a fraction by putting it over 1. So this is my rise, so this is down. And this is my run, it's positive, so it's to the right. So I'm going to go down 3, right 1. Down 3, right 1. Down 3, right 1. Now also remember, this is the same thing as 3 over -1. So I could also go up 3, left 1. So I can go up 3, left 1. You notice I get another point right there. and then connect those points to the straight line. Arrows on the end for full credit. All right, last one here. My slope is negative 2/3. My y-intercept is 0, 4. I'm going to graph 0, 4, and then my slope is negative 2/3. Remember, negative 2/3 is the same thing as negative 2/3, which is the same thing as 2 over negative 3, but only one negative, right? I can't put the negative in both numerator and denominator. That makes positive 2/3. All right, I'll start with this right here. I'm going to rise negative 2, so I'm going to go down 2, and then run positive 3, so to the right 3. Down 2, right 3. Then if I look at this one right here, I'm rising 2, so I'm going to go up 2, running negative 3, so left 3. Up 2, left 3. I keep turning my iPad on the side to try to draw my line. And it keeps changing the orientation. No big deal. Okay, next one. This is multiple choice. Given the generic graphs, determine which of these options could be the equation for the graph. Go ahead, pause the video, try this on your own. All right, let's see how you did. If you look at this, this is my y-intercept. This is 0, comma, and then it's a positive number. So my y-intercept has to be positive. So is there anything I can cancel out? C's out, D's out. All right, the next thing I notice is that this is up and to the right, so that's a positive slope line. M's positive. So if you look at between these two, which one has a positive M value? Only B does. All right, using the same idea right here, here's my y-intercept. It's 0, comma, a positive number. So my y-intercept has to be positive once again in this case. And then this time, if you look, it goes down and to the right. So that is a negative slope. So if I look for a negative slope, my only one out of those two is A. Okay, the last thing that we're going to talk about today is we're going to look at a word problem where we have to find the slope, find the y-intercept, write the equation of the line. Okay, it's very similar to things that we have done before. It says Julie is out with her friends trick-or-treating and reaches a new block. The table below gives some data about about the number of pieces in her bag as she goes from house to house. So, houses visited is X, pieces of candy in her bag is Y. After 2 houses, she had 40 pieces of candy, 4, 46, so on and so forth. It says graph the points to the right, scale the X and Y axis as needed. Okay, so if I look at my X values, I need to go up to at least 8. So if I look at my x-axis, I'll be fine with labeling this. I'm going to label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now I only needed up to 8 for my points, but that doesn't mean I stop labeling my x-axis. You need to label your whole x-axis. I'm also going to label what X represents, which is houses visited. All right, so now for my Y, I have to go up to at least 58, okay? So I say, okay, what do I want my tick marks to go by? If there were 10 tick marks, I would say, oh, I'll go by 6s. But there's more than 10 tick marks. There's 16 tick marks, and I know by looking at this. So if there's 16 tick marks, and I need to go up to 58, what I could do is 58 divided by 16 to see what I would have to go by. So if I do 58 divided by 16, it's 3 point something. So I need to go by at least 4s. I could go by 5s if I want, or 6s, or 10s even. But I want to get the most for my money here on my graph. So I'm going to go by 4s. So I'm going to do 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, 60, 64. And this is pieces of candy. Pieces of candy. All right, now I'm going to plot the points that I know. 2, 40. 2, 40. There we go. 4 comma 46, which is 4 is right there, and 46 is directly in the middle between those two. Okay, what else? 755. 755, so like there-ish, not quite 56, and then 858. 858, which is right in the middle, like that. Okay, so if you look, if I were to connect these points, which I'm not, because this is not continuous, I'll have candy after the third and fourth house. I have, or the second house and the fourth house, which I don't have points there yet. Or the third house and the fifth house, my bad. But I don't have anything after 1.5 houses, because there's no such thing as 1.5 houses, or nothing as 2.5 houses, or 2 2/3, right? So I'm not connecting those. All right, it says find the slope of the line. So remember, you can pick any 2 points that you want. I'm going to pick this point and this point. I like to pick the numbers lowest on the on my table, because then it's easiest for me to do in my head. So this is XY, XY. This is 1, 1, 2, 2. And it doesn't matter which one's the first one, which one's the second one. All right, so M equals Y2, which is 46, minus Y1, which is 40, over X2, which is 4, minus X1, which is 2. So that's 6 over 2, which is 3. So the slope of the line, M, is 3. All right, what does the slope mean? Okay, so now remember what Y was. Y is candy. So this was candy. And then this was houses. Okay, so this means that he got, or she, what is it? She got 3 pieces of candy per house. Okay, so I'm going to say on average, I like to say, because we don't know what happened in between. On average, Julie got 3 pieces of candy per house. So I don't want to say she gets 6 pieces of candy every 3 houses, because, oh, this is a 2 right here. Wow. I don't want to say she gets 6 pieces of candy every 2 houses, because that's simplifiable, and that's also implying that she gets 3 pieces of candy for every house, right? All right, use the graph to find the y-intercept. I hate that it says use the graph, because I can't look at it and see what the y-intercept is. So I'm going to use my table to help me get to the y-intercept. It's not the only way, but I'm going to do that. All right, so remember, she got average of 3 pieces of candy per house. So at 1 at the first house, and then I need to know 0, okay? All right, so first house would be 3 pieces less than that, which is 37. And then after 0 houses, 3 pieces less than that, which is 34. So my y-intercept is 0, 34. What does that mean? And that means after 0 houses, she'll have 34 pieces of candy. But that doesn't make sense, right? It's like, huh? But you have to remember the problem. It says that she started counting on a new block, right? So I'm going to say she had 34 pieces of candy in her bag when she reached that block. So she already had 34 pieces of candy when she started that block. Wow, block. Okay. All right, write the equation of the line. So I'm going to do y equals, I need my slope, which was 3, so I have y equals 3x. And then I need my y-intercept, so plus 34. Or you can have y equals 34 plus 3x. It's the same thing. All right, last, use the equation to predict. That means you're the one that you just wrote. Use the equation to predict how much candy will Julie have after she visits 32 houses. So first off, I'm going to look back at my table as houses x or y. Houses is an x. So they're saying when x is 32, what will y be? So I'm going to do y equals 3 times 32 plus 34. So y equals 96 plus 34. Y equals 130. So she will the prediction is she'll have 130 pieces of candy. Okay, so let's look back at our goal for today. I can write an equation and graph a line in slope-intercept form. So go ahead and re-rate yourself on how you feel about that, and then